Hey, it's Derek from WatchMeCode.net. So over the years, I've had a lot of conversations with various people, software developers and business people and customers and a lot of different people in general on the subject of what does it mean for software to really be successful? And there's a lot of different answers that you can get from different people, and frankly, you'll get different answers from the same people if you just keep asking the question in different ways. And it brings up the question, okay, do we really have successful software if the client says that it's successful, or if the developers say it's successful, or what? So, what's the real answer here? What does it really mean to have successful software? And I'll tell you what I think it is in a moment, but first, I do have a little story to share. So years ago, this is probably 2006, 2007 era, I was working for a small company. They were probably, 40, maybe 50 employees total at the time that I joined. And this was a company that was doing some work for the U.S. Army, doing maintenance and logistics stuff. It was kind of boring software on the surface, but pretty interesting once you really got into it. And this company had this contract, and they were doing what was pretty good work at the time in .NET. And when they first delivered their first version of this software, the customer, the U.S. Army, was ecstatic. They were incredibly happy. The team had delivered what was the new gold standard for software quality and release time and documentation and functionality. I mean, the whole nine yards. It was a rousing success according to the customer. Everybody was happy. Lots of good things happened. The company very quickly grew. I came on board with this company shortly after that point in time, and we started growing even quicker after that. And at their peak, the company was probably 250 employees, full-time employees, with equally as many contractors actually working in the Army, on base, out in the field, whatever, installing and maintaining and running the software that we had written. But over time, we started to notice some problems. We started to see that the customer was less and less happy. We started to see that the developers were less and less happy. We started to see that our shipping times were being delayed. There were more bugs coming in. The features were taking longer to produce. There were just more and more and more problems with the software over time. And what was once a raging, outstanding, exciting success for this company was turning into a huge problem area for the company. And it started to grate on people in a lot of very bad ways. And eventually, the company eventually lost that contract. It was years later, of course, that they lost the contract, and for reasons other than software quality. They eventually did do a really good job of turning things around and being able to produce software again. But as we were going through these struggles with a company that had quadrupled in size, at least, and become a bastion for success in the U.S. Army, there were a lot of conversations around software quality and software success. And we kind of came to the point where there were two sides to the discussion, where the business people were saying, well, the customer is saying it's no longer a success, so that means it's not a success. And while the developers are saying, well, the developers are having problems maintaining the software, so it's no longer a success. So we had these two different perspectives where one side of the coin, people were saying, well, it's the customer that defines success. On the other side, well, it's the developers that define whether it's a success, because the developers can or cannot add features and maintain it, or the customers can and cannot use it. And the reality of the situation is that it was truly one coin. There were two faces to that coin. There was the customer perspective and there was the developer perspective. And when this company first released this software, they were focused entirely on the customer side of success, which I believe was actually the right thing to do at the time. Focusing on that customer success allowed them to get initial value out there very quickly. Allow them to show the customer that, hey, we can produce something that is very successful for you, something that is high quality, does what you need, and get it done fast. But over time, the developer side of things, which they had taken a lot of shortcuts with, ate away at that success. And the long-term success of the project was very rapidly diminished because of the engineering quality in the software itself. So when we step back and look at this, when we see what was once a raging success kind of tanking and heading down and being far less successful over time, there's a lot of aspects to this, a lot of reasons to this, but part of it at least is the engineering side of things. Whether or not we are able to continue building the software, whether or not we're able to maintain it the way we used to, there's a lot going on here. But in the end, I really think that the measure of success for software is not any one of these aspects. It is a two-sided coin, at least. Probably a multi-sided coin if you want to get really down into it. But I think we can simplify things down and say that it is a two-sided coin. There is the customer success and there is the engineering success. And without both of them long-term, I don't think you're going to have success on either side of that coin. Yes, you absolutely need to have customer success very quickly. That is probably the most important thing to focus on when you're first developing a piece of software. You need to make the customer successful in what they do. You need to solve their problems. You need to make their life easier. You need to make them enjoy using your software as quickly as possible. But long term, you need the developers to be successful as well. You need to make sure that the engineering practices are moved in a direction that allows for maintainability over the long term, that allows for new features to be added, for old features to be removed, for the system to grow and shape and redefine itself as needed from the engineering perspective based on what the customer actually needs and really is focused on as things move. You're going to have change in your software. There's going to be things that you do need now that you didn't need before, things that you don't need now that you did need before. So the ultimate measure of success in software, in my mind at this point, is not a single thing. There are many aspects of success in software. But we can boil it down to two basic things, in my opinion. And that is the success of the client, the customer, the people that are using the software, as well as the success of the engineers and the team that is building the software. And when I say engineers, I should really rephrase that. It is the success of the entire team, the company building the software, everyone involved. The engineers, the designers, the marketers, the business people, the people that keep the lights on and keep the floors clean, everybody involved in the engineering side of things, in the software production side of things. So if you can find that balance between making the customer successful and making the development and production team and all of the support and business and marketing around that, making that side of things successful, then you're going to have a really, truly successful product that will probably live for a very long time. So what do you think? What are your metrics for success in software? I'd love to hear what you think. Leave a comment down below and be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more thoughts on code from WatchMeCode.net.